So with everything that's been happening and photo stores are being closed because they're not seen as essential buildings, you have no way to develop your black and white film. Now some places are still developing film, but the prices are already kind of high, and then with shipping as well, the price is just going to be a lot more unreasonable than they were before. So by learning how to do it at home, in the long run, you actually end up saving some money, and it's pretty easy. I know it may seem scary and daunting. For me, it definitely was, but it's a piece of cake, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. So the most important thing you're going to need is a Paterson developing tank. This is just one of the smaller basic ones. It comes with 2 reels, and you can fit 35 and both 120 film on it. But if you do 120, you can only fit 1 roll in your tank, but if you do 35, you're able to fit 2 for your development. You're also going to need film developer, film and paper fixer, permawash, distilled water, photo flow, 2 32-ounce bottles that are completely dark and opaque so no light can get through, any container that can hold at least 20 ounces, just has to be clear so you can figure out how many ounces you have, a good size funnel, some scissors. I bought a new pair because I didn't want to have a dirty, like my dirty old pair of scissors cutting my clean film, a little eyedropper tool, a bottle opener. It doesn't really matter what kind, just a simple one to help get your film can open. You're also going to need a thermometer. I have 2 different types. One is just like an old-fashioned one with a dial, and then I also have a electronic one, but I usually just stick with the old-fashioned one because I feel like it's more reliable than one of the battery-powered ones. So since we are working with chemicals, I would recommend wearing gloves, latex gloves, any kind. You don't have to, but just because we are using chemicals, so if you happen to touch your face or anything, you want to be super careful. So this part you're going to be doing in complete darkness, but I'm just showing you how to do it. This is just a crap roll of film. So you, again, do this in complete darkness. You can get your bottle opener, and the bottom part of the film canister you're going to open up, and then you take out your film, and here you'd cut your end part off with scissors, but since this is a crop roll, the end part looks different than yours will. So you, again, in the dark, which is very hard, try and cut as straight of a line as you can, and then once you do that, you're going to load it onto your developing reel. There are these 2 grooves at the which you can feel, and you're gonna slide your film through there, and then it will get stuck at these little balls at the end, which fit into like the holes in the side of your 35mm film. And then once you have it all on and set, you're just gonna rotate with one hand forward and backwards, and your roll of film will just automatically keep slacking on. And while you're doing this, try not to touch the film as little as possible because you don't want to get your fingerprints on it or mess up at all. But you also want to hold your thumbs a little bit inward, so because you're in complete darkness, so to make sure your film doesn't pop out on its own. And then once you get to the end, it just rolls on all by itself. So to make your fixture, you're going to grab your film and paper fixture chemical, and then you're going to pour 6.5 ounces of that into your 32-ounce container, and then the other 25.5 ounces is just going to be filled up with water. To make your hypoclear chemical, you're going to take 4 ounces of your hypoclear and put it into a 32-ounce container, and then the rest of the 28 ounces is just going to be filled up with water. So if you take apart the box that comes with your film, on the inside you'll see numbers and stuff like that, which will show you how much of what chemicals you need to perfectly develop the film. So for this one, and most black and white films, your developing is a 1:9 ratio. So it will be 2 ounces of your film developer, and then the rest of the 18 ounces will be water, which will come up to 20 ounces, which is how many ounces fit in your Patterson developing tank. So there's also an app called MassDev Chart Timer. It's $8.99 on the App Store, and instead of looking inside your box to figure out times and chemical amounts, you can just go in it and choose the film that you want. And then once you're there, you also choose which developer you're using, and then you put your ratio, which is 1:9, pick the ISO of your film, and then inside the app it will tell you your times for everything, like developing, your stop bath, fixing, hypoclear, and final wash. So it just breaks things down. It also has a timer, and it also has different modes, like for in light situations you're in, if you want to do this in the dark, even though because of the tank you can do this in daylight, but just so if you happen to not have the tank, or for whatever reason are in the dark, or just like the different color modes. So once you have your 2 ounces of developer and 18 ounces of water, you're going to mix that together, and then you're going to try and get that to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So obviously it won't be that when you first pour it in. So what you do is you go to your sink or your bathtub, and you get like a bucket of water and have your hot water running, and just put your little measuring thing inside of it, and then just keep an eye on it until it gets to 68 degrees, and then once it does, then you can start developing. So once you pour the developing into the tank, you can start your timer, and as you can see on it, it has a little rotating thing that's agitating it, so it will tell you when to agitate as well. So that's kind of the beauty of the app. And to agitate it, you just turn it upside down and back up while rotating it simultaneously, and then you're going to do this whenever it tells to, or if you don't have the app, just like every 30 seconds for like 5 to 10 seconds. So for this film that I'm shooting, it's 11-minute developing time, so it does take a while, which is kind of the downside to black and white film, is that it takes a lot longer than color, because all the times and everything are so specific. When color, it's just more broad in general with the time and stuff like that. So once your developing time is done, you're going to pour that out, and then you can just safely dispose of that down the drain, which is the only chemical you can actually pour down the drain. And then after that is your stop bath, which is just 1 minute of water, just kind of to rinse out the developing chemicals to get ready for your next round of chemicals. So after that minute is done, you're going to pour your water back out, and then next is your fixer, which is the chemicals that we put together, which is just your fixer and your water. So you're going to pour that into the tank, and then that will last about 5 minutes for the type of film that I'm using. Again, you will agitate the fixer while it's developing, just to make sure it hits every part of your film. So once your fixer is done, this is where your funnel comes in handy because your fixer is reusable, so you're just going to pour it out of your tank back into your bottle. So after that is your Hypo Clear, which is the chemical of your permawash and water that we mixed together. So you're going to pour that into the tank, and then for my film it only takes 2 minutes. And again, you're going to agitate it while doing this as well. And then your Hypo Clear is also reusable, so you're going to get your funnel back out and pour the Hypo Clear from your developing tank back into your bottle. And then after that is your final wash, which lasts about 10 minutes. So what I do is I just put my tank under a sink and you just keep letting it run for 10 minutes. Don't have your sink all the way up, kind of have it at like a medium power so you're not wasting so much water, because basically all that needs to happen is just your film needs to be submerged in water for 10 minutes, but the water can't be, like if the water just sits, it will just easily fill up with chemicals, so that's why you want to like keep rinsing out the water by putting new and getting rid of the old. And then the last part of your final wash is just 30 seconds with your distilled water and your photo flow. So you're going to fill up your tank with your distilled water, and then you're just going to use 2 little drops from your eyedropper of photo flow, which will help your film. So after those 30 seconds, which you're going to be agitating as well, you're just going to dump it back out, and then that is not reusable, but it's okay because distilled water isn't that expensive, and your photo flow can last you for a long time because you literally just use 2 drops when you're doing it. So now your film is completely done. You can take it out of the tank because it's fine and light now. So to take your film out of your reel, you're just gonna twist it until you get it right. This was a little challenging for me at first, so you're gonna twist it depending on where the grooves in your film are. But then once you take it out, you're gonna be very careful because again, it is delicate. This is where your film is most delicate. You're going to take it out and unroll it and don't let it hit the floor. And then you're just going to, with your fingers, squeegee it all the way down just to get that excess water to drop off it so you don't leave any water stains when it dries. So then you're going to hang your film. I'm just hanging it in my bathroom with this little paper clip kind of like zip tied to my shower curtain hanger. And then you just let it dry. I let it sit for about 2 hours just to completely make sure that it's dry. And then to make sure your film doesn't curl while it's drying, you're gonna grab your empty reel that your film was in and put it at the bottom of your film for a counterweight to make sure it just stays straight. And then after 2 hours, your film is all set to be cut and put into sleeves and stored. Alright, so it's been a little over 2 hours and my film is all dried, so I got it cut and put in these sleeves as well. As you can see right here, they didn't really turn out that well, but this was just a dummy roll. It didn't really matter what came out on it. It was going to be for my class, but that ended up kind of getting canceled with everything that's going on, but still making sure you're developing your film properly is always important. But yeah, this is kind of just hopefully a helpful video for people who are kind of stuck at home and don't want to have to pay the expensive prices to ship their film out in these times. I encourage people to still be shooting, so that's why I wanted to kind of show you how to develop, if you're a black and white film shooter, how to develop stuff at home. And it's, like I said, pretty simple, pretty easy. The app is a great help if you're serious about developing black and white film, but if not, that if you just want to like once in a while do it, the back of the box, like I said, it will be enough information for you. But hopefully you all enjoyed this video. Hopefully everyone is staying safe and inside, trying to go out as little as possible, because with everyone's help we could hopefully be soon getting back to our original lives. So yeah, stay safe, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you around.